Hi, it is Belinda, Aussie Stitcher, finally back. I'm not liking the angle, there we go. For a video, but it's going to be my Wip Parade. Now, no, it's not the end of year Wip Parade, but because of how busy I am in December and how there's always so much people around me, I've decided to do it during harvest because it's just easier on me. So my last Wip Parade was on the 4th of December last year, so I'm about a month early. It's the 5th of November. So it is what it is. So it is roughly 12 months worth of work. Saying that, my numbers are not very accurate because I didn't count December stitches in my 12 months of stitching. And I can't remember what I worked in, and I'm not watching my video, so it is what it is. I didn't really stitch a lot this year. It's been a really stressful shit year. We're in the middle of a drought in where we live in Western Australia, and when I say we're in the middle of a drought, from January to now we've had around 130 millimeters of rain, which is not a lot. We've got a crop. We're very thankful for to have a crop. It's not a great crop, but we have a crop, and so many people don't have a crop, or they have worse than what we've got. So we're very, very thankful. But what it's meant is I didn't stitch a lot this year, really. But I have planned for next year. So as I'm going through the whip, I've broken it up into my sections. In the last 2, maybe 3 years, I've had Vicky Stitch and Button being my whip manager, which is a lot of work on her when I end up not listening to her anyway, and stitch some of the stuff she suggests, or says, hey, this month stitch on these things, and then I end up not, because stitchy bug, kids, life, you name it, it gets in the way. So I've done my own plan. So as I'm going through, which is going to make it really hard to say this is what I've worked on, and a lot of it I haven't worked on, but we're going to go through it. Please bear with me. I think it's going to be really cool. So my sections are, my first basket I'm going to show you is the whips that I'm going to focus on because I want to get my whip count down. I don't like not touching the majority of my whips. I'm not a big stitcher. My life is really busy. That's glare. I'm sorry guys, but I think the lighting from that window will be great for the whips, not great for the glasses. I want to get it down to around a 30 mark. 30 means I touch half, if not more than half of my whips, depending on how I'm doing things. Where at the minute, I'm not even remotely touching half. So my goal is 5 finishes before I even think about a new start, so that I'm automatically down 4 whips. So I have 1 finish this year, and going back, I used to get 5 finishes a year. So I need to get my whip count down so I see progress. I can happily start new things knowing I'm going to work on them and we're going to get progress. So you'll see in the first pile that I'll show you, I haven't reorganized it, but I'll try and grab my focuses, and then when I finish those focuses, because I should have at least 3 finishes next year, I have my new focuses coming in. So they are in this basket. My next basket I will show you is full. That's a lie. Outback Storm will be part of my focus list, but you will see that in my full coverages, because I tend to treat them a little bit differently because they're like a lifetime project. So Bar Heaven and Earth, Outback Storm, you'll see the ones I'm going to focus on. Then you're going to see 4 whips that I want to see finishes sooner rather than later, but they need the work on, which means I'm giving them 3 months to get at least 3,000 stitches on, and these will be my 4 that I heavily focus on until I can move them into my every month focus. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So I have 5 whips-ish that I focus on every month, and then I'll have 4 whips that I focused, 1 whip for every 3 months to get extra stitches on. 6 minutes in and you haven't seen a whip. And then I have my 12 whips that I would like just to get a little bit of progress on. They either haven't seen enough or they're my favorite whips and I want to stitch on them. So they'll be randomly drawn on the Tiny Decisions app, and I'll work on that for at least 1,000 stitches that month. And then there'll be my big box of whips that won't get touched, or if I happen to complete everything, that box is on another Tiny Decision wheels and will get spun, and that will be my bonus stitching. Like if I happen to have a spare 3 or 4 days, can get any kind of stitching in, that's that whip. And then you'll see my Heaven and Earths and full coverages, because I've got Artisy and Creating Creation, so not Heaven and Earth, my full coverage. It is a weekend, I have 4 kids, they'll be in and out. It is what it is. I have books everywhere to give you as much details as I can possibly give you. Buckle in. Right, for my first finish, and let's be realistic, my only finish of the year, I have finished Winter's Lace. This is my oldest whip. This is 17 years old. I started it in 2006 and I finished it. So on social media I have showed this, not on here. So I'm really sorry. I've just noticed that I've got the aircon on and the window's blown open because it's hot, so I just need to close the window. I'll be back. All right, I am back. Sorry about that. Our house is old, so we have fly screens that slide across and our windows push out, and somehow the window opened. So anyway, here is my finish. Gold Dimensions, Winter's Lace. there's supposed to be some backstitch and couching, and I showed my husband and he was like, I can't even tell the difference that you've left it at. So I have done 6,530 stitches, half stitches, which is equivalent of 3,264 full fit stitches. This is on 16 count kit Ada with the kit threads. I've washed it a couple of times. It was really, really dirty, and a couple of really bad stains come out. I've got one that didn't come out up here, but some of the color dye went into the white, and I just kept washing it, and it eventually came out. Almost the out, you can see here, kind of, that it is not as white. It's fine. For a 17-year-old kit that didn't get really used, it is what it is. Just a heads up, I have a kid making a sandwich. So happy that is finished. This is going to William. So I need to think of one that I'll start also for him. Righty-ho. Let's get into my focus whips. So this one, and if I haven't, I'll put a before pic if I've got one from the beginning and I started stitching on it. Auto Queen by Mirabilia. Now this is stitched on 32 count Belfast in Ancient by Picture This Plus. Also, she doesn't make these bags anymore, but this is Emily C Eclectic Possessions bag. I will do bags as I go along, but unfortunately she doesn't make these anymore. So Autumn Queen, I did 8,206 stitches this year. And guess who didn't bring a board? Again, because I have one. So he'll be, hopefully, my picture from the beginning. And this is where I am now. So I've done, I think, from about here down, and I've just started up in the second page. So I've completely done the bottom page and now I'm working up. So the majority of her dress is done and this should be finished next year. Absolutely love these colors. I did swap the Whisper for, let me check for you, because I don't often swap things, but this one I did. Do I have it? I swapped it for 3865. And I have all my specialty threads and treasures in one of the mini bags from Stitch and Button. So this will be a finish next year. I've still got quite a bit. So this will be probably about a mid-year finish, realistically speaking. But, you know, we've been quite sick this year as well. I had my in-laws over from Scotland for a month. Loved it. They're so awesome. So when I finish that one, I will replace it with Winter Queen by Mirabilia. And this is, so I haven't touched this in a couple of years, is on 32 count Belfast in Glacier by Picture This Plus. And I'm not sure which way this goes. Anyway, that is a pretty good indication of the color actually. And this one I am using the Whisper. So this is another bag by Eclectic Possessions. Right. Now, because I have finished Winter's Lace. Sorry, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Actually, probably 1, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get all of this done today. This is a bag by cannot think of her YouTube name, and I don't know if she wants her real name used. Anyway, you know who you are. And she made me a couple of bags, and she made me this bag, and it has Lady Rose by Joan Elliott. This is one of my I've been wanting to finish this for years. So I started stitching on her when I finished Winter's Lace. So 536 stitches I have done. This is on 32 count Sprite by Picture This Plus. And I have finished bar the beading, the bottom page, so I've just got the top bit to go. So I've literally done just in here. And that in there was like stitch confetti. So I would love her to be done. I haven't had Joan Elliott finish since I finished Ladybird, which was quite a few years ago now. When I finish that one, which I will finish hopefully early, because it's really not that big. In this bag from Jane Stitching Necessities, just a beautiful bag, I have my Sleeping Beauty by Joan Elliott. And this year I managed to get, where is it, 1,940 in. This is stitched on 32 count Belfast Bashful by Picture This Plus. And I did the pillow and this, and I hadn't finished it off. This was one of the ones that Vicky had for 3 months, and I think I was during the last month I got sick, or one of the kids got sick, because goodness knows we kept getting sick this year. So this will just, I'm not going to finish this next year. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but it would definitely get worked to the point. If I happen to be finished, it will be replaced with another Joan Elliott. Because I keep buying Joan Elliott charts and I'm not starting them. So, in this beautiful bag is a stitch and button bag. I have A Perfect World by Scarlett House. And it says, in a perfect world, you would find me here with the birds and the flowers and the dog and the deer. And this is stitched on 32 count ivory. Not 32 count, 36 count ivory. Before I lose another card. And this one I have done, this won't be accurate. I have done around 7,500 stitches. So before pick, and here we are. So I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the year I had just done, I don't know if I've done all the words or some of the words, but I've finished page 1, 2 and 3, and I'm on to the last page. So this will be definitely a page finish next year. Loving it. And I even did my first 1/1 with that little bird. And poor Laurel, when I was on Zoom, got to listen to me swear because I had to unpick it a couple of times, and unpicking 1/1 is not fun. And trying to work out the chart for 1/1, it was charted for 1/1, but reading the chart, that it means this in this bit of the 4x4 square was not fun. So when I finish that one, I'll replace it with this stitch and button bag. Vintage Birds by Jeanette Douglas. And this is also on 36 count ivory, ancient ivory. And I haven't. Now this one's one of the few ones that I've actually made changes to. So I got each of our family to pick their favorite color, which is a bit weird because I don't think Michaela really likes blue. Maybe it's because I just didn't have a pink in the palette. And I'm replacing the letter with that color. Somehow I thought I was way further along. I don't think I'm going to finish this next year, but we'll give it a go. And then I have kind of like a travel piece. I have work in this stitch and button bag. I have Anzac. And I've done 3,646 stitches since the Wip Parade. And this is on a 32 count, and I don't have the details. But I've finished the top page, and I've started down on the next page. I'm just using 310. Now this one is not going to be finished next year. But if I get 12,000 stitches in it, I should have at least the second row done. If not, to be honest, some of the next row. When I have finished that, in this gorgeous, beautiful bag that was gifted to me by Megan, Stitching May, I will have this as a focus, which I haven't touched in a long time. Oh my God. And it is very screwed up. Long Dog Sampler Spangle. That's had a hard life. And this is stitched on 36 count Bittersweet. And that's where I am. So this probably won't get touched for another year, maybe even two, depending on how I go. Oh my God, that's loving how that is just picking up the fact that it's reflecting my eyes. That is a good representation of the fabric. So, but that's like the ones I'm like in order of how I want to get them. Right, so I'm gonna pause for a minute rearrange my stuff, and then we will do the next couple of categories. All right, I am back. We're still going okay. This is going to be a long one. I'm really sorry, people. The intro was pretty long. So these next 4 are the ones I'm going to do one every 3 months, and I'm just going to spin. I'm like, I'll spin on either end of December, beginning of January. These whips. The first one in a stitch and button bag is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. I was actually looking for the stitch count so I could go, because I stitched on this year. This is going to take multiple years to get. When I finish, I think, Spangle, depending on where I am, if this isn't already a good halfway done, this will come out as my next to be finished whip. A perfect world, where are we? Nope, and a Forest Grew, and it's not here, and I know I stitched on it. I know I stitched on this. So I've obviously missed out somewhere. I'm pretty sure I stitched on this. There should be a before pick. Now, get this Prusty book because I don't have it in there. Where is it? Sorry, people. Okay, and a Forest Grew is on 36 count Tyco from Picture This Pass. Really sure I have stitched on it, and if I have, it would have been about 1,000 stitches. I have no record written down, but I'm pretty sure I have. So the idea is I'll keep chipping away on this till it becomes something that I can see finishing probably within 2 years. That's some of the piles, like within 24 months I expect, like I want to focus on to get a finish within that time frame. The next one, and I haven't stitched on it, is the March Fairy by Mirabilia. And that's where I am on that one, and this is stitched on 32 count from Colour Cascades. Do I have a little? I do. It's a mystery fabric by Colour Cascades, which are no longer in operation. And that's very close to the purple. It's a very purpley purple. This is for Iona. Her favorite color is purple. She was very disappointed that the March Fairy doesn't have purple. And this is a bag from Stitch and Needle in Australia on Etsy. It's a beautiful, beautiful bag. My next focus, and it actually might be a finish, or very close to a finish, maybe, if I can survive, is Day Nymph by Mirabilia, because it is tiny. Now this is stitched on 32 count ZEPHYRUS by Under the Sea Fabrics. And I have stitched on this, and I stitched 718 stitches, so you should see a before pitch. These are the threads, and some of these threads break ridiculously easy, and I don't like them. So they are Veldoni, Valdoni hand dyed colour fast cotton. Beautiful colours, beautiful. I don't like working with them. Anyway, I focused a lot on her wing. That's a good indication of the fabric right there. But yeah, I did a lot of the wing, outlining of the wings. And this bag was gifted to me by Melody. And the last one, maybe I didn't work on a forest fruit, is Inspirations. We'll see in the editing. This one I did work on, and this is really, really big, and I really, really like it. I'm not sure, I think there's pretty much 1/1 in that middle, and that's slightly putting me off. Anyway, Inspirations, I did 777 stitches. And this is, and I've got 2 in here, 32 count Gold Digger Old Map by Colour Cascades, which has closed down. And that's where I got to. So it's a very intricate, done page 1, started page 2. Still love it. It is, that middle though is still throwing me somewhat. I think because it looks so old. When was this? 2007. So yeah. But we will get it finished. And this is another bag by Collective Possessions, who is no longer making bags. I thought it was very appropriate. All right, so these were my focus. So these should get at least 3,000 stitches next year. We'll move to the other side. I will do a quick move. Sorry for the noise. These are going to be my at least 1,000 stitches. So in this bag, which is by Jan Necessities, is My Sleeping Beauty by Mirabilia. I kind of thought I worked on this too, but obviously I didn't. Probably was meant to work on it and I just didn't. But again, if I happen to be wrong, this is why. No, there should be a card in here with all the details. Here we go. 32 count even weave by Picture This Plus Ariel is the fabric. No, not even remotely have I worked on this year. I don't even know which way this goes. Oh. No progress. So at least 1,000 stitches on this next year is a must. This is also a Jan's Stitching Necessities bag, and we have Portrait of Veronica by Mirabilia. I know I haven't stitched on this. This is on 32 count Belfast Glacier by Picture This Plus. I'm not in love with this. this was a contender for a restart. And I don't know if it's the fabric or what. But I'm going to give it 1,000 stitches to see what's going on. Don't even know if that's the right way. But I want to see if I can fall back in love with this, or whether it was just a really bad fabric pick. Because I have realised I did quite a few restarts this year, or UFO'd to do a restart because I didn't love the fabric. So there's that. In this stitch and button bag is my new start for this year. This was my new year, new start, or roughly new year, new start. And it was the 3 things sampler. And it says 3 things there are that will never come back. The arrow shot forth on its destined track, the appointed hour that will not wait, and the helpful word that was spoken too late. So I'm not sure what this is. It would be some 36 count, and I did 503 stitches. I feel like, yeah, no, that would have been 500. It looks like a lot of stitching, but it isn't really. So obviously decided that needs another 1,000 stitches. Probably be one of those that will eventually go in the, excuse me, when I have a space, every 3 month one. Right, in this stitching necessities bag is a restart. No, it's not a restart. It's Mermaid of the Pearls. Let me just get, right. This is stitched on 32 count, Sweet Child of Mine from Colour Cascades. And do I have a photo? For some reason, I don't. So I'll put in a photo here of what it will look like when it's finished. It's a Mirabilia. And, oh, that's where I'm up to. I am using the recommended 8 braid Krynic. It is not necessarily easy to stitch with, but I'm enjoying the texture that is coming from it. This is a stitch and button bag. And we have the Peony Garden by Mirabilia. And I think I picked this one solely because of all the silks. All the silks. Now, 32 count Locust is the thing by Colour Cascades. And it has, haven't worked on it, don't know which way it goes. That's it. Haven't touched it in 3 years. It's coming up. So that will get 1,000 stitches. Minimum. Flora, Fairy Flora in, and I show it every time I have to bring this out. This is by Melody. She stitched that and then made it into a bag for me. But it still blows my mind. Melody, I have a package here. It will get sent. It will. Now this, I don't think I stitched on this at all this year, but last year it got quite a bit done because it kept getting called in one of the challenge groups I'm in, and I would like to stitch on it more. And that's where that is. I think it goes that way. I'm looking at my crosses going. That's the way my crosses go, but maybe not. I love everything about this, and I want to get back to it. Good. The little zipper pull, come on, be nice. It's a little turtle. Royal Holiday in Eclectic Possessions. Bag. This is Mirabilia. This is on 32 count. I think this is also Glacier by Picture This Plus. Haven't worked on it in a while, but it has had a little bit since I started. When I've done all the season queens, this will be the very last focus for a finish out of those queens. Love those colours on this. Love it. I went through all my whips recently, and so many good ones. All of them are good, but you know, some of them you're like, oh, I remember stitching on that. I just loved the colours on this and loved the thread. This is a Eclectic Possessions bag, and this is Moonflowers on 28 Hyacinth by Supreme, hand-dyed fabrics by Laurie. Opal. And I haven't touched this since I started. All of the sparkles and not a lot of focusing. So, and I didn't show a picture. I was looking for it and then I got distracted. Moonflowers by Mirabilia. Right now, quick cuddle, off you go. Okay. Get some blueberries. Right, in this stitch and button bag is Stargazer by Mirabilia, and this is stitched on 38 Legana Opal by Blue Moon Colour Cascades. And I just, oh, look at that fabric. Love this, love this. Oh, I can't wait to get 1,000 stitches in this. Come on, for this to actually end up being a focus for a finish. Which, like if I had less whips, I could focus more on them. Okay, this one. Another stitch and button bag. You can have strawberries, mate. Nutella and strawberries. Yeah. A little bit, yeah. Midsummer Night's Fairy. Sorry, Milk's hungry. It's not really focusing. There we go. By Mirabilia. This is stitched on 32 count Jobelan Whimsical Winter by Under the Seas. Oh. Haven't stitched on it, but loving the colours on this fabric as well. Good choice, Belinda, good choice. I do make some good choices. And then I made quite a few, which I restarted, were really bad. Okay, and this stitch and button bag is a Mirabilia. It is Shakespeare's Fairies. I haven't told you a lot of the needle minders because most of the places where I've got needle minders have closed down. Stitch and Button does sell needle minders, as do a lot of other places. Just search it up. Again, Stitch and Button little mini bags, great for holding all your little bits and pieces. This is, I'm gonna have to pause and sort this kit out. Hang on, I could probably tell you. When did I start it? This is on 28 count lock by Picture This Plus. And this is the edge on one side, and I'll work across because that's what I like doing, so I definitely know it fits. All right, I'll be back. We are back. So, and the last one in that 12-month pile was a restart this year. I didn't like the fabric, and that is Tree of Hope. By Mirabilia. That needle minder, I can say, comes from Stitch and Button, as does the bag. So on Tree of Hope, I did 1,053 stitches, and I ended up starting at the top. This is on Bright Sky by Fancy Fabrics, which is Australian hand dye fabrics. 28 Brittany even weave. And it's a gorgeous fabric. Oh, my leg is starting to hurt. And there we go. So that's the 12 that I am going to get at least 1,000 stitches in. Just going to do a quick move around. I'm not going to pause again because I feel like that's a waste of a minute that I've just started. Right. Will is now sorting out the strawberries. Okay, now this is just the box which will maybe something in here will get stitched on next year. All right, we'll start off in this stitch and button bag. The Bliss Fairy. And that was a bit loud. That was my I haven't written down. I did so many starts that year. Bliss Fairy, 28 count Lagana on Arctic from Picture This Press. Haven't stitched on it since I started it. And that's it. Pretty sad. We'll get to it. I might even, you know, once I've done 1,000 on these ones, the following year I might pick out some of the ones that haven't had a lot of stitching on and use them. These were literally ones, those ones I want to, in the finished to be sooner pile than these ones. This is Scary Sampler, which I started this year. And this is stitched on Colour and Cotton, Salt Rock, 36 count. And I did 1,099 stitches. This is what it looks like. I love it. I love all the bits and pieces to it. And that is what I got. So I had 2 official starts, and I can't remember how many restarts this year. This is in a stitch and button bag. This is a Melody bag. And I don't know. Actually, it's just there. So I'll put in the photo. But I restarted this and I didn't get very far. I think I got, didn't even write it down. That's how bad it was. A couple of hundred stitches, half stitches. And this is The Sorceress by Dimensions. I had started on 18 count Black Ada and realized that the 4 threads, 3 threads, 6 threads that is known in Dimensions will not work on 18 count. So I went to, I think this is 16 count. So that was a restart this year. And I changed, I started in the dress and then I went, no, I can't do that anymore. Can't do it another, because I think I've restarted it like 6 times, what felt like forever. When I was first starting it, trying different fabrics, I needed a different spot, so I'm now up in the moon. This is a stitch and button bag, and this is Cinderella Rags to Riches. I'm stitching both on the same fabric. Now, when did I start that? Sorry, people. Um, 32 count Vanilla Lace by Hand Dyed Stephanie. And that's all that I have done. Don't know if I said it. Stitch and button bag. Stitch and button bag. This is a kit I'm using the Kit Everything. It is Lennart Fantasy Elf Fairy 30 count kit fabric. Haven't stitched anything since I stitched on it. Started it. A lot of these were the 2020 start-a-thon that everyone seemed to have, and I now do regret having so many whips. At the time, it seemed like a really great idea. The reality is I really, in case you hadn't noticed in all my chatting today, I want to see progress. I want to go, I'm this close to a finish, and work on it. The Embroideress, which I did stitch on this year. I stitched 864 stitches. Hopefully you are seeing before pics, because I'm not actually sure if I've kept them. Joan Elliott, and this is stitched on 32 count Barbie Girl by Colour Cascades in a stitch and bag button. Stitch and button bag. And I literally would have done more of the dress. Another stitch and button bag, Christmas. I worked on this. No, obviously not. Christmas Blue Angel, which I think is my oldest Joan Elliott. So if I finish Sleeping Beauty, Joan Elliott, this is the one that would come out for a finish because it's the oldest. 32 count Belfast April by Mermaid Tails and Angel Wings fabric. And I've done a reasonable amount on it. And that little bird is so cute. Oh, and that's another, I'm pretty sure I said stitch and button bag. This is another stitch and button bag. And this is Dragonfly Fairy by Joan Elliott, stitched on 32 count. And that's all I've got. And I've done quite a reasonable amount on that one. Haven't touched it this year though. That's what it looks like. The Reader in this stitch and button bag. Where's that? This is from a magazine, so that's what it looks like. Did not stitch on it, but I have this is on 32 count Belfast Bashful by Picture This Plus, and I finished one page a couple of years ago and started the next. I love this border. Love the colours in this. This is Stitch and Button's favourite. She's always like, focus this. I'll focus on this when you focus on animal magnetism. How about that? The Time Traveller. This is on 32 count even weave, 4 fairy by Colour Cascades, and I've done 1 page, and I do love that umbrella. You can see like how it's got like the folding of it. Love it. This is a bag by someone who no longer does bag. It was Stitching Nell. Little House Nell. But yeah, she made this bag many moons ago. A Black Swan. Guardian of the Enchanted Forest. This is Stitched On 28 Jobelin Tactical Camo by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Did not work on this either this year, but I have worked on it last year in that never ending green robe. But when I start stitching the white on her wings on this, I think it's going to look pretty darn amazing. This is an Emily collection bag. Eclectic bag. Words, people. This is another one of her bags. And this one is The Dancing Butterfly by Joan Elliott. This is Stitched On 28 count Jobelin by Fabrics by Steph. It doesn't tell me. Yes, it does. April Showers. My very little start. Oh, just look at that fabric. Love it. It does annoy me more than it should, because I remember having the attitude of, why let it sit there as a kitted project when, if it's a whip, what's the difference? The difference is I want to stitch on it and see progress if I started it. This is a bag, mind blank, complete mind blank. Terry Crafts. She no longer makes bags. This is a restart this year. It is restarted on Willow Wisp, 28 Cassia Willow Wisp by Hand by Stephanie. It is Emerald Mermaid by Mirabilia. And I got 522 stitches. Basically, I restitched what I had already done on the previous. So, you win some, you lose some. I don't know if I said embroiderers, I stitched 864 stitches. Not that it matters right now. In this stitch and button bag, beautiful bag, all her bags are beautiful, is Fairy Moon by Mirabilia, and this is stitched on 32 count even weave from Chromatic Alchemy, and it's a two-toned fabric. Haven't stitched on it this year, but I do love stitching on her. I love this fabric. The blending in it is amazing. This was a gift to me, and it for my birthday last year. And this was from a shop that's closed down. Queen Mariposa by Mirabilia. This is stitched on the 28 count confetti by hand by Stephanie, and I don't think I have stitched on it since I started, and I'm still still liking the fabric, I think. We'll see when I get to it. Yeah, this was a gift from Jessie Marie. In this stitch and button bag is a Wip I haven't touched in forever. Rapunzel by Mirabilia. This is stitched on 32 count opal Fairies Wear Boots by Colour Cascades. And one day I'm going to stitch more than what's on here for the amount of time. I don't know, this might have to be a restart. Maybe that's why I haven't really got a lot into it. We'll see. We'll see when it gets pulled up. I started this in like 2016. Needs a little bit more than what it has had on it. This was a bag that I got as a gift, I'm pretty sure. Forest Goddess by Mirabilia. This is by fabric 28 Highland by Picture This Plus. Haven't stitched on it. This is a bag that I got with, oh, is this the gift? One of these bags is a gift. The other bag I got, that bag, I got in a devil, you know, the Tasmania, Tasmania devil's pouch. I can't think of the exact wording, but they do mystery boxes every 2 months. Tiny Dancer by Joan Elliott. apparently I went through a pink stage. 32 count even weave from Colour Cascades. And that is my little start. This is another bag by Terry. She's no longer doing bags. 3 for tea. By Mirabilia. Sorry, I was just checking to see if I had stitched on it. It just says 28 count. I don't know what the fabric is. I have stitched on it since I've started, because that's quite more than my 1,000 stitches for starting. So I must have done a couple of rounds on it since I've started. Love this one too. Love the colours. I love the group of ladies that I started with these. I did a whole heap of starts. Was it 2019 did we start? Kim and Noni? We did birthday starts for like a couple of years. And then I think we got to the point where we were starting so much, but we weren't actually stitching on them. In this Emily Collections bag is the last of the queens that I'll be doing, which is Spring by Mirabilia. And this is stitched on 32 count Belfast Highlander by Pictures Plus. And I have done more than what I thought. This is probably the fabric that I wasn't the most happy with the pick. And I remember ringing a certain friend in America who made me that other bag, which I didn't mention the name of, and she helped me so much with this. I don't know if she ever remembers the phone call, but it was amazing help at the time. This is a bag that I won in an auction. It's a Mirabilia. What a surprise! A Garden Brulee. Here's the cover. My goodness, it's nearly 4 o'clock. This is stitched on 28 count Morning Angel's Morning by Colour Cascades. It's quite a big fabric. Not sure which way it goes. I know that's the center. Does it go this way or this way? Anyway. And the last one in this box is in another Emily bag. And it's a Circle of Friends. And it is stitched on 32 count Belfast, which I don't know the name of. This was another one that I started. I started quite a few of these. You know, I thought I was going to go through this without missing any, but I'm missing the Villa Mirabilia. See if we can find it. But anyway, there we go. Started a heap of, actually most of the 2019 and 2020 projects I started with either the ladies in virtual stitches or some friends, one's stitching Noni, she started doing floss tube again, and one's Kim, and she was doing floss tube, but she's no longer doing floss tube, which is fine. Otherwise I would link her. And we did a lot of just birthday starts, random starts, friendship starts. Very good memories. Right. This is slightly annoying. These are all, I don't know where my Villa Mirabilia is. I was like, this year is gonna be the year where I do not miss one. But I've managed to miss one. Villa Mirabilia wasn't restart anyway. I did 1,030 stitches. There's really not a lot to show. If I have a picture, I will put it in. I saw it just the other day. Anyway, let's go and show you the last 5 whips, which is my full coverage. This is Outback Storm. I'll put a picture in here. Haven't stitched on it in a couple of years. This is stitched on 22 count Hardanger. And then I've got the whole bottom bit done to make sure that I had enough, because I was having a panic attack. But we can see a tree and the clouds as the storm rolls in. And I have washed this recently because it got filthy. And this is in one of Melody's bags that she gifted me. This is in another Melody bag. Loving Mother, which I got from Fox Collection, but it is an artisy. This is on 25 count, gridded, and that's it. That's my very small, haven't touched it since start. In another Melody bag, this Magic Study. Put a picture in, and that's all I've done. And it's gonna be freaking huge, and that's all I've done. This is on 25 count as well. I don't know if I'm going to UFO some of these, to be honest, because I just don't stitch on them. Outback Storm, I won't. Breathe, I won't. But yeah. Oh, and this one. This is picture, Charting Creations, Golden Finch and Blossoms, 25 count, 1/1. And this is a Stitch in Jan Necessities bag, as is this one. Breathe, I have stitched on, picture, 1,076 stitches. On a 25 gridded fabric, 1/1. And that's it. That is all the whips bar Villa Mirabilia, which I don't know where it is. I stitched roughly 34,000 stitches so far. It hasn't been a good stitching year. We've been sick. We've been busy, stressed out, had family over. It's been one of those years. Well, nearly one of those years. Hopefully next year will be better. In case you hadn't noticed, I have UFO'd my chatelaine to be restarted maybe next year. I've got the fabric that I want. I moved house and realised the fabric I had picked didn't suit this house. And this is our forever house. So it needed to go on like a 28 count white or antique white. I think it's what I ended up going, or an off-white. Can't remember. It's a white colour. To go with this house. So yeah, UFO'd some things, wanted to restart some things, and it'll just take time. I have roughly 50 whips. My goal is in like 3 to 4 years to get down to 30 whips. So that is why I would still like to do some starts. There's some stuff that I would like to work on. So 5 finishes for every start. And if that takes me 2 years to get 5 finishes, so be it. But that is what I'm going to stick to get these whips down. All right, I've got Will crawling around in the background. I'm feeling a bit tired now, sitting on my butt for an hour and a half, because it's a long one. I am coming up to I can't remember, 8 years floss tube in July, June, July. So we see if we'll do something there. So I've shown you some of my goals. I've shown you some of the stuff that my plans. Yeah, I'm gonna go now. Thanks for sitting through this probably very boring Wip Parade, because most of it was not seen. And I'll see you next time. Bye.